The eyes of the Thai champion changed at some point between the third and fourth second of that fight. 500 people saw it happen. 500 people would be able to describe it later in interviews, in books, and in bar conversations over the next 30 years, the exact moment this man, 2 meters 3 centimeters tall, weighing 142 kilograms and undefeated in 71 professional bouts, realized he would lose. Not because of a strike that reached him, the strike came later, but because of what he saw in the eyes of the 64-kilogram Chinese man standing before him. Something he had never seen before in 14 years of Muay Thai. Something that should not have existed in a man he had just promised to destroy before 500 witnesses at an official ring under the yellow lights of Thailand's most sacred gymnasium. It was March 14th, 1972. There were 500 pairs of eyes, and in the next 5 seconds, they would all witness the greatest sporting humiliation in the history of Thai Muay Thai. Without violence, without blood, without a knockout, only a display so cold, so controlled, so silent, that the national champion would never be able to be the man who walked into that ring again. The champion's name was Anuvat Sharankul. He was 28 years old. He held the heavyweight belt of Lumpini Stadium, considered the temple of world Muay Thai, but in the circles of bookmakers and Thai sports newspapers, nobody called him by his name. Anuvat was known as the Yak. The Yak, in Thai Buddhist mythology, is a giant that guards sacred temples, 5-meter statues with protruding fangs, red eyes, blue skin, and stone clubs, demon protectors. Anuvat received this nickname at 19 in his 5th professional fight, when a single elbow strike simultaneously broke his opponent's jaw and left humerus. By age 28, the Yak had a record of 71 wins, 0 losses, and 0 draws. 63 of those victories ended in a knockout, 44 opponents left the ring on stretchers, and 11 suffered permanent disabilities. The Yak was not just a fighter, the Yak was an industry. He was the most profitable product of Thai Muay Thai since Apadej Sithirun in the 50s, and the Yak had an old, deep, inherited problem with the Chinese. This problem came from childhood. The Yak grew up in the surroundings of Chiang Rai, near the Burmese border, in a region economically controlled by Chinese moneylenders of the Golden Triangle. His father hanged himself in a rice barn when Anuvat was 11 after losing the family home to a Chinese debt collector. Anuvat carried this hatred into the ring. In 14 years of his career, he had refused to take fights against Chinese opponents 3 times, declaring they were not worthy of his level. But Bruce Lee, on that night in March 1972, sitting in the 4th row of Lumpini Stadium and unrecognized by anyone, was about to change that order, and not in the way Anuvat imagined. Bruce was 31 years old. He had just finished filming Way of the Dragon in Rome. 2 weeks prior, he had returned to Hong Kong and accepted a strange invitation from a producer friend to talk to Thai investors about a possible co-production. The meetings in Bangkok went well, too well. On the 4th night in the city, the producer suggested Bruce watch a demonstration at Lumpini, considered the national temple of Muay Thai. Bruce agreed. He arrived as a spectator, as an observer, as a man who respected Thai tradition and wanted to learn. He sat in the 4th row next to a translator, in a simple black polo shirt and dark trousers, not drawing attention. He was there to study technique. The universe, however, had other plans. It happened during the intermission between 2 preliminary fights. The Yak was not fighting that evening. He was merely an honorary host, sitting ringside in a chair reserved for the national champion. But a sports journalist from Hong Kong accompanying Bruce accidentally mentioned who was sitting in the 4th row. The information spread in whispers through the stands. In less than 5 minutes, the entire stadium knew that Bruce Lee, the new star of Asian martial arts cinema, was there. The Yak heard, the Yak rose from his chair, the Yak walked to the commentator's microphone in the center of the ring, and began a public humiliation the likes of which he could never have imagined. Speaking in Thai, his voice amplified for 500 spectators. There is a Chinese man here tonight. A Chinese man who makes money by pretending to fight in movies. A Chinese man who sells the world an idea that he knows how to fight. I don't believe in the Chinese. I don't believe in movies. I believe in the ring. He paused, looked directly at the 4th row, and pointed. Get up here, actor. Get up here now and show your movie Kung Fu against real Muay Thai. I give you 5 seconds in the ring. If you stay on your feet for 5 seconds, I will pay all your expenses in Bangkok. If you don't come up, everyone here will know that Kung Fu is just a Chinese lie. The whispered translation reached Bruce's ear. He smiled slightly, answered the translator in English, and the translator conveyed in Thai, Mr. Lee says he did not come here to fight, but to learn. The crowd began to boo. The yak laughed into the microphone. Learn? Then learn the first rule of Muay Thai. He who refuses to step into the ring is not a man. Bruce remained seated. The yak realized that standard insults were not working, and then made an irreparable mistake. He mentioned Bruce's father. He said that Li Hoi Chuen, the late Cantonese opera actor, died knowing his son was just a circus clown, and that his father would be ashamed in this moment. At that very instant, Bruce Lee, without saying a word, rose from his seat. He climbed the 3 steps into the ring, took off his sneakers, took off his watch. He didn't take off the polo shirt, didn't warm up, and stood in the center of the ring barefoot, arms relaxed by his sides, looking directly into the yak's eyes. The Thai referee panicked. There were no agreed upon gloves, no signed rules, no doctor ready for Bruce Lee, but the yak ordered the referee away with a categorical gesture. 5 seconds, the yak repeated into the microphone, now addressing the 500 witnesses. If he stays on his feet for 5 seconds, I will pay for everything. The referee left the ring, the gong sounded, and time began. The first second, the yak moved forward with a low shin kick to the leg, the same strike with which he had broken 31 femurs during his career. The strike was aimed at Bruce's perineal nerve to knock him down in the first 2 seconds. But Bruce was not where the yak thought he would find him. Bruce slid half a step to the left exactly at the moment of the strike, and the Thai's shin cut only the air. For the first time in 71 fights, the yak missed with his opening strike. The second, the yak, surprised, recovered his stance with the speed he had trained for 14 years and unleashed an upward elbow strike, the same strike with which he had broken 17 jaws. The strike came with full force, aiming for Bruce's chin, but Bruce had already read the entire sequence before it began. At the very moment the Thai's elbow rose, Bruce tilted his torso back at a 30-degree angle, and the elbow passed, barely grazing the skin of his chin. The yak remained open for a moment, the right side of his body exposed, collarbone unprotected, neck without cover. The third second, and here, something happened that nobody truly saw. Bruce did not attack the open side, did not attack the collarbone, did not attack the unprotected neck. Bruce attacked the giant's supporting knee, a short lateral kick at the joint level with the sole of his foot. It was not a strike to destroy, it was a strike to inform. The yak's knee did not break, but he felt the joint yield for a split second. For the first time in 14 years of Muay Thai, the yak felt that his balance depended on another person's permission. At that very moment, his eyes changed. The 4th second, the yak tried to regain his stance, raised both hands into a high Thai guard, and prepared another elbow strike, but Bruce was already inside his guard, closer than any opponent had managed in 71 fights. No punches, no kicks, simply with his right palm resting confidently on the giant's sternum. He didn't push, didn't strike, he just touched it and looked the yak straight in the eyes. The yak understood what was happening in that moment. Bruce could have struck 3 vital points in the last 2 seconds. Bruce chose to strike none. Bruce was demonstrating before 500 witnesses that he possessed absolute control over the life of this 142-kilogram man. He wasn't fighting, he was teaching. The 5th second, Bruce removed his hand from the yak's chest, stepped back half a step, slightly bowed his head in a sign of formal Thai respect, and spoke for the first time that night in English. In a voice so quiet that only the yak heard, 5 seconds, I survived, you owe me. The gong sounded. The stadium erupted. The yak stood in the center of the ring. 500 people were screaming. 500 people had just seen their invincible national champion not even touched by a man 78 kilograms lighter, not knocked out, simply allowed to live. That was what the yak understood in those 5 seconds. Not that he had lost, but that this Chinese man had decided not to destroy him in 3 clear, visible moments. And that decision was worse than any knockout. It meant that in the perception of this smaller man, the yak wasn't worth the effort of a real strike. He had been treated as a student, not as an opponent. And in Muay Thai, in the deep code of Thailand, to be forgiven in the ring is the only thing a national champion cannot accept. The yak fell to his knees in the center of the ring, not from physical pain. There was no physical pain. He fell because his legs refused to hold him. 500 witnesses saw the giant from Chiang Rai place his forehead on the canvas in the direction of the corner where Bruce Lee was tying his shoelaces. It was a spontaneous gesture. No one asked for it. It was the only thing the yak's body could do in that moment. Bruce Lee saw, walked to the yak, extended a hand, and helped the giant up, without saying a word. He walked out of the ring, took his watch, took his jacket, and left Lumpini Stadium through a side door before the Thai press could catch up to him. The authorities buried the story in less than a week. Muay Thai was a national asset. The yak was a state investment. The official version published in the newspapers spoke of a friendly demonstration without a declared winner. But 500 pairs of eyes saw the truth. And in the following months, the story began to spread in the backstage areas of martial arts circles in Hong Kong, Singapore, Manila, and Tokyo. The Yak returned to the ring 3 months later against a weak opponent and won without brilliance. He returned 6 months later against a Japanese fighter and won by points for the first time in his life. In January 1973, he lost, his first defeat in 14 years. He lost to an unknown Burmese fighter. He retired in June 1973 at 29 years old. The following month, in July 1973, Bruce Lee died in Hong Kong. The Yak learned of this from a friend in Bangkok, locked himself at home for 3 weeks, and refused to speak publicly about Bruce Lee for the rest of his life. In 2003, at 59 years old, he gave his only statement to a Canadian journalist who had been searching for this story for years. He said only this: "I trained for 14 years to believe that I was the most dangerous man in Thailand. Bruce Lee taught me in 5 seconds that I wasn't even the most dangerous man in the 4th row." He died in 2011 from respiratory complications in a small village near Chiang Rai. He was buried without military honors and without a Muay Thai ceremony, by his own choice. The referee of that night, a gentleman named Prasitan Tantipanachku, lived until 2019. In the final years of his life, he usually said that he understood something on that day, March 14, 1972. That 40 years of Muay Thai had not taught him. That size is a promise, not a guarantee, that a man weighing 142 kilograms can train his body for destruction his whole life and still encounter, in any random minute of existence, someone weighing 64 kilograms who trained his body to choose not to destroy. And that the difference between destruction and the choice not to destroy is what separates a fighter from a master. The Yak was a fighter. He was the best fighter Thailand had produced in decades, but Bruce Lee was something else. He was a man who in 5 seconds managed to show 500 witnesses that true power is not in how much you can break. It is in how much you can leave whole, when nobody would have known if you had destroyed it. 5 seconds. That is all he needed, for the rest of the Yak's life, for the memory of Lumpini, for the story that the Thais still whisper when someone asks why the strongest man in Bangkok in 1972 chose to disappear from his own legend.